that you all are running in the wake of this, hitting the president for a tardy response to all this. You show him playing golf 24 hours later, the president coming out and finally saying something another day after that, 46 hours later.
But what already is apparent is that there was a mix of human and systemic failures that contributed to this potential catastrophic breach of security.
Arguing that the responses were much better under President Bush, yet as many Democrats and others have pointed out, President Bush waited, I think, 6 days before doing much about Richard Reed, the shoe bomber.
Well, I think that you've got to go back here and look at the way this president has dealt with terror since he's been in office. And the point of that ad was this notion that you cannot win a war if you're treating it as sort of an inconvenient sidelight. The Obama administration counterterrorism officials, including John Brennan, were briefed by the Bush administration counterterrorism officials during the transition on Yemen and the threat from Yemen. In June of this year, we were attacked at Little Rock at the recruiting station by a terrorist who had just come back from Yemen. In September of this year, John Brennan traveled to Saudi Arabia, where he received a personal briefing from Mohammed bin Nayef, the head of Saudi intelligence, who himself was the target of an assassination attempt using precisely the same weapon that the Christmas Day bomber used. You know, you can go down this list on and on.
In November, we were attacked. Had a record number of drone attacks this year. Has personally ordered a record number.
That's right. But in November, we were attacked at Fort Hood by someone with connection to Yemen, and the Christmas Day attack. And even after that, after the president's press conference, when you had John Brennan and Homeland Security Chief Janet Napolitano brief, they both said they were surprised that al-Qaeda in Yemen was operational. And Napolitano went on to say she was surprised that individuals would attack us. So there is clearly a problem here. I disagree with George. I don't think that the events, the briefings that were provided this week have begun to give Americans any comfort that there is a real understanding of the threat the nation faces and what it's going to take to be able to defeat that threat.
President, have to do more?
George, I